Welcome back. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan meeting with top Chinese officials in Beijing this week. A readout of Sullivan's meetings show the parties discussed synthetic drugs, AI safety, Taiwan, and the South China Sea. With only 5 months left in office, this is the highest level public engagement the Biden administration has had with the Chinese military. Following Sullivan's talks, the White House announced President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping are planning to talk on the phone in the coming weeks. He's on his way out of office. Joining me now is Gatestone Institute senior fellow, author of The Coming Collapse of China and China is Going to War, Gordon Chang, back with me. Gordon, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So what do you make of Sullivan's trip? What is your takeaway?
Yeah, this is not a good thing. For instance, the Chinese see when foreign officials go to Beijing that they see that we're paying homage to the grand celestial Chinese court. They see that we believe we're in an inferior position, and as a result, they become even more aggressive and belligerent. And we have seen, for instance, during the course of the Biden administration, are pursuing dialogue with China, and the Chinese becoming much more aggressive and belligerent. So even though it sounds good that we're talking to China, just the history says that this policy approach is not working, and it's certainly not working at what could be the most consequential moment in history.
Yeah, I mean, is there any reason to believe otherwise, that the U.S. is on its heels and sort of at the disadvantage in this relationship, given the fact that the U.S. keeps sending people to Beijing? I mean, have they come here? It feels like every few weeks this administration sends more cabinet members to try to kiss the ring of Xi Jinping. Why?
Well, it's because this notion that if we have dialogue, if we talk to China, that we can, first of all, establish cooperative relations. And the Biden administration actually says that there are areas where we can manage competition, which is the phrase, and actually cooperate where our interests coincide. Well, unfortunately, when you have a Chinese regime that believes it's engaged in total war against the U.S., there is no place that we can manage competition or cooperate.
Yeah.
And so the Biden administration needs to listen to what the Chinese actually say about us.
And do. I mean, how about a surveillance balloon flying, in the skies across America for a week as they try to surveil our military installations? How about, all of the fentanyl coming in, killing American citizens every year? How about the police stations that are here for also surveillance reasons, or the intellectual property theft? I mean, over and over again, Beijing is undermining the United States, and what are we doing about it? Even as Chinese officials apparently are reportedly struggling to secure meetings with Trump campaign officials. Did you see the Financial Times article today that the Chinese team wants to try to get in with the Trump team, and they are failing at securing any meetings?
Well, good for President Trump, because these meetings can come no good for either the Trump campaign or the United States, because China uses every contact to try to undermine and take down our society. And clearly in 2020, China worked very hard and very successfully to elect Joe Biden. We saw that with their social media, their illicit activities, funneling money through Act Blue to the Democratic Party campaign. There is just clear evidence that China was very much on Biden's side, not only during the Democratic primaries against Bernie Sanders, but also in the general election, of course, against President Trump.
Yeah, there's the article in the Financial Times this morning reads, Chinese officials and visiting scholars, some of whom are seen as proxies for Beijing, have already been struggling to meet U.S. lawmakers, but are now facing barriers with Trump's team. Trump's views on China were well known, and there was a risk to meetings that they would be misconstrued, adding that the president's election campaign was focused on winning in November and not focused on befriending Chinese officials. Gordon, let me turn to tech, because the New York Times is out with another piece titled, Can China Tech Find a Home in Silicon Valley? This piece writes, Chinese tech professionals are moving to Silicon Valley for opportunities they don't believe are available in China anymore. But are they actually finding a home in Silicon Valley, or is this negative China sentiment taking place throughout?
Yes, in Silicon Valley, they understand they're getting grief not only in the United States, but also in China, Xi Jinping is making it very difficult for private equity investment in anything. And what we are witnessing, of course, in China is Xi Jinping closing off his society in general, but also he's trying to push out foreign business and even domestic Chinese private entrepreneurs, because he believes that state enterprises should be at the core of the Chinese economy. So it is a very hostile business environment across the board. And we should, just apart from this tactics, we should not be, and I'm going to borrow your phrase, we should not be underwriting the enemy. This is strategically wrong. This is morally wrong.
Yeah, thank you for that. Underwriting the Enemy is our Fox Nation special. The documentary is streaming right now, and I hope everybody goes to check that out. Of course, you also are part of Underwriting the Enemy. Okay, so we are expecting Speaker Johnson to hold a quote-unquote China Week at the end of September, where he's encouraging lots of members of the GOP to bring, and the entire conference, by the way, the whole House, to bring whatever bills they want down to the floor for potential debate during this quote-unquote China Week. What do you think is most important in terms of potential legislation regarding China?
We need to cut our contacts with China. And I know people will find that to be extreme, but China uses those points of contact to do harm to the United States. Their goal is to take down our country, as they specifically say. So we need to make sure, for instance, that Chinese nationals don't own land, farmland. They don't own ranch land. They don't commit crimes on our land. So we should be forfeiting their property according to federal forfeiture statutes. We just need to toss out their state banks, their state businesses. This is unfortunate in a sense, but we cannot deal with the Chinese because they're overwhelming the FBI, they're overwhelming local law enforcement, they're overwhelming local governments. And as we see, these Chinese front organizations are working with local governments, with state governments. The Daily Caller did this excellent investigation of Chinese front organizations in Minnesota with Tim Waltz. This is something where we're just being flooded by Chinese agents. We've got to stop that.
Yeah, Waltz, of course, praised Chinese communism as a system where everyone shares and everyone is the same. The contractor or the plumber is going to make exactly what the doctor makes, and everybody's happy about that. Gordon, thank you. Good to see you this morning. Gordon Chang joining us on